Hi there. From my corner of the world to yours, this is Reverend Al. Okay, I've decided it's time to count carbs and cut back. Are you having any situations in your life this summer where you feel like some adjustments are needed? That just seems to be the way we go as human beings. We ebb and flow. Sometimes we're highly disciplined, in other areas we're not so much, and then that all changes around. And that's what I can think about as a learning process for we human beings. So today, as a devotional, I think about that, of how so easy it is to give up and think we can't accomplish what we want to do. And so, even with me, back to counting carbs and being careful, realizing that my health is important, I just embrace it again. How many things have you started that you dropped along the way and then embraced again? I don't know about you, but I really do love the summer reading lists. Even though, because I take most of my vacation in the winter, I don't get to summer reading until then. However, a couple summers ago, I came across this book that was recommended by NPR as a summer reading list selection. And it's entitled The Sound of a Wild Snail Eating by Elizabeth Tova Bailey, who incidentally was winner of the 2011 John Burroughs Medal. In this little book, I found it so fascinating that this woman, who had been bedridden for a number of months, which led into years and which led further into decades, learned much about a little snail that she discovered on a plant that a friend dropped by her to cheer her up. In the book, there's a little brief passage I want to read as we think about starting over, doing things if we feel stuck, and getting through them. I read. An account of a snail's behavior in a tight situation intrigued me, the author writes. It appeared in Mental Powers and Instincts of Animals, a chapter in Charles Darwin's manuscript, Natural Selection. Mr. W. White writes this. Fixed a land snail in a chink of rock. In a short time, the animal protruded itself to its utmost length, and attaching its foot vertically above, tried to pull the shale into a straight line. Then, resting for a few minutes, it stretched out its body on the right side and pulled its utmost, but failed. Resting again, it protruded its foot on the left side, pulled with its full force, and freed the shell. This exertion of force in three directions, which seems so geometrically reasoned, might have been instinctive. Then our author of the snail book writes, were I stuck in a chink of rock, I'd have tried a similar approach. This raises the unanswerable question of where instinct ends and intellect begins. My snail went about its life moment to moment, much as I did, making decisions or being indecisive about food and shelter and sleep. If a snail can learn and remember, then it thinks, at least on some level I was convinced of this, and until someone, preferably a snail, can prove otherwise, I will hold on to that belief. The life of a snail is as full of tasty food, comfortable beds of sorts, and a mix of pleasant and not so pleasant adventures as anyone I know. Think about it. Are you kind of stuck in the chink of a rock? Are you kind of trying to pull yourself up emotionally or spiritually during this pandemic and just kind of find yourself snapped back into that cleft? I invite you to extend your arm again, launch out again with that next foot, take it one moment at a time until you succeed. I am working on it. I hope you are too. Amen.